Pick up cargo at 8 o'clock. Cargo is 25 tons of live cattle. Destination is Mitzbramon. A signed manifest will arrive by email before loading begins. It is currently 8:15. My inbox contains 3 spam messages and an update from my mobile provider. It does not contain a manifest. There is no gate. There is no supervisor. There is also no sign indicating where the loading area is located. A commercial farm is not a warehouse. It does not have paved roads, painted lines, or numbered docks. It has dirt, fences, and a very high probability of getting a truck stuck in the mud. I am driving a 16-meter articulated vehicle. I cannot simply drive around looking for cows like a tourist looking for a museum. Therefore, I must deduce the location of the loading chute using logic. Logic suggests the cargo is that way. Now comes the technical part. Reversing a 16-meter double-deck livestock trailer into a wooden farm chute requires millimeter precision. The farm worker takes another look at his new tablet. He is waiting for me to hit the post. I do not intend to give him the satisfaction. I am easing the Scania back in low gear, using the side mirrors to align the trailer edges with the cones. He looks disappointed that nothing broke. I step down into the yard to inspect the load and the trailer interior before opening the ramp. First, the floor aluminum. It must be covered in clean wood shavings for traction. Bare metal becomes slippery from moisture. If cattle slip, they panic, and panic leads to injuries. Second, the deck height. The upper deck is set for market weight cattle. Plenty of clearance, so their backs do not touch the roof. Third, the ventilation slats. All side vents are wide open to maximize airflow during transit. Now I count the herd in the holding pen. 40 head of Black Angus, roughly 600 kilograms each. Total mass 25 tons. I am keeping acceleration low so the cargo remains balanced. I am preparing for a smooth left turn, yielding to traffic. And who is sitting right there on the road? A police car. If he pulls me over and asks for my transport manifest, I will tell him my dispatcher emailed it to my imaginary printer. Do you think he pulls me over, or do we make it to Mitzbramon in one piece? Comment below. Below us is the river. Inside the trailer, 40 cows are feeling every bump in the road. If I brake too hard, 39 Angus steers and one angry panda calf will slide forward into a single massive pile of beef. Welcome to Tripoli. Narrow streets, aggressive scooters and pedestrians who treat a 40-ton Scania like a minor inconvenience. Inside the trailer, 25 tons of cattle are shifting their feet at every traffic light. Tripoli is in the rearview mirror. It is pitch black now, and the highway is completely empty. The only sound for miles is the heavy, rhythmic rumble of the V8 engine. The cool night air has done what I couldn't. 40 cows, including the rebel panda calf, are finally fast asleep. Ahead of me, hundreds of kilometers of open desert road stretching toward Mitzp Ramon. Still zero emails from my dispatcher. Just me, the V8 growl, and a trailer full of sleeping beef moving through the night. There are at least 6 police cruisers blocking the lanes, blue flashing lights cutting through the dark. And then I see them. 3 handlers with German shepherds on short leashes, pacing the asphalt. 40 cows staring down to a police officer, checking my trailer. From quiet highways straight into the heart of Beirut. The GPS says 496 kilometers left. That is 6 solid hours of highway, engine noise, and pure driving ahead of us. Back in the trailer, the cows are just swaying back and forth with the air suspension, completely relaxed and probably asleep. At this point, it's all about smooth cruising. Lock in the top gear, keep the engine humming at low RPMs, and save every drop of diesel we can while the night air stays cool. Nearly 500 kilometers of open road ahead. We're in a real good rhythm now. Endless winding S-curves, looping back on themselves like an infinity symbol. In a 16-meter rig, you can't just steer through this. You have to read the road 2 turns ahead. If I turn in too early, the trailer cuts the inside curb. If I swing too wide, the back end hangs out over the side rails. So it's an easy, rhythmic dance. Swing the cab wide, let the trailer follow the arc, and use just a touch of retarder to keep the herd from leaning into the sideboards. Scania gliding through like it was built for these tight country curves. Pure rhythm, pure control. I pull the retarder lever down a notch, letting the Scania coast in gently so we don't look like we're coming in hot. The air brakes let out a quiet hiss as we roll up to the stop line. Behind me, the cows shuffle slightly in the dark but stay calm. Route advisor just updated. 473 kilometers remaining. Another checkpoint already. These Middle East stretches love stacking them back to back. Looking in my right-hand side mirror, I can see a couple of cow snouts poking right out through the trailer ventilation slats. 40 cows standing shoulder to shoulder, just dead-eye staring down this one German shepherd. The dog looks up at the massive steel livestock box, completely baffled by 25 tons of curious beef staring back at him in silence. Not a single moo, just pure mutual confusion. You gotta love border control in ETS2. The officer sits inside a tiny glass box, staring completely motionless into the abyss, waiting for me to magically transmit 40 pages of livestock health certificates by pressing enter on a keyboard. The barrier arm swings up into the air, which is the international signal for please take your 25 tons of live cattle and get out of our lane. Route Advisor says 427 kilometers left on the clock. That means we've officially shaved almost 70 clicks off the route since the border, and the Scania is just cruising in 12th gear at 80 kilometers an hour. Out here on the Syrian highway, the desert stretches out in total darkness on both sides, just the headlights cutting a white beam across the black asphalt. The engine is sitting right in the sweet spot around 1100 RPMs, sipping diesel, while 40 cows in the back are dead quiet, gently swaying to the rhythm of the lane lines. 427 to go. No AI traffic cutting across my nose, no speed cameras in sight, just pure, peaceful miles ticking down on the GPS. Another checkpoint. At this rate, I've spent more time staring at lifting barrier arms than actual open highway. Wait, an unmanned checkpoint. No green icon to park on. No aggressive AI guard staring through my soul. I don't know what to do with my hands. I almost came to a dead stop just out of muscle memory. We're just allowed through. Don't look suspicious. Nobody sneeze. Just roll through the concrete slalom before the game engine remembers to spawn a roadblock. Steering wheel held dead straight with both hands. No sudden lane changes, no hard braking, absolutely zero trust in the bridge physics. If this bridge decides to despawn mid-crossing, my virtual insurance is definitely not covering the drop. Welcome to Isra. Time to dodge some reckless NPCs and drop a few quick facts about this ancient city. We are rolling through the Horan Plateau. This place has been a massive crossroads for trade routes for thousands of years. Take a look around. Almost everything historic here was built using black volcanic basalt rock. Right in this town sits the Church of St. George. It was completed way back in the year 515. No sudden moves. Keep both virtual hands on the wheel. "307 kilometers to go. We are officially eating away at the distance, but the in-game GPS is still giving me side-eye. Clear of the city limits, throttle wide open, and the gearbox is finally doing its job. No barriers, no traffic lights, just straight asphalt cutting through the desert plains. Let's lock in cruise control, lean back in the driver's seat, and pray the simulation doesn't spawn a random tractor pulling out at 10 miles an hour. Just rolled into Berat. Word on the street, the locals here actually love the channel. 5-star reviews across the board. The guy at the corner waved us down. The traffic cops gave us the green light, and everybody agrees. The driving might look a little wild, but Vic always gets the job done. So look, don't leave the people of Berat hanging. Hit that subscribe button real quick. It helps out a ton, keeps the fuel tank full, and makes sure we keep this run going strong. This time we've got the full setup. Lowered barrier, armed security, and working dogs on patrol. Slowing way down, easy on the brakes. The dogs are doing a full walk around of the cab, taking a good look at the cargo. No sudden movements, windows down, total professional mode. Waiting on that barrier to lift. Just give us the nod, officers. We've got miles. Pulling off the highway and tucking the rig into this petrol station for the night. Shutting down the headlights for now. Catch you all at sunrise for the morning leg of the run. Good morning, everybody. Sun is coming up over Jordan, engine is fired up, and the coffee is already working. Air pressure is up, mirrors are adjusted, and the tank is full. Time to drop the handbrake, roll out of this station, and get right back on the asphalt. Let's make some miles. Rolling straight into Irbid, northern Jordan's biggest hub, known as the Bride of the North. Narrow city avenues, lively roundabouts, and traffic picking up on every corner. Keep your eyes on the blind spots and stay steady on the clutch. Irbid, treat us well. We've got heavy cargo moving through your streets today. dropping straight down into the Jordan Valley. We are officially rolling through one of the lowest points on the face of the earth. Look at this landscape. Endless green farmland cutting through the desert canyon, heated up by that heavy valley air. Engine braking on the descent, managing the weight and taking in these views. Cruising through history right now, guys. Let's keep the wheels spinning. Rolling right into Afula, known as the heart of the Jezreel Valley. Wide open valley skies all around, classic city vibes, and plenty of local spots lining the main stretch, keeping things nice and steady as we make our way across town. Afula we're passing through, keep the run smooth and the road clear. Just got a ping on the phone, text from the customer. They're asking for an update and looking out for the drop-off. Good news for them is we're right on schedule. Tires are turning, and the load is completely secure. Nothing beats pulling up right on time. Let's keep this momentum going and get this freight delivered. Under 100 clicks to go, 98 kilometers on the dash. The final stretch is officially on. And we made it, pulling right into Sde Boker, right here in the heart of the Negev highlands. And that wraps up another solid haul. Thanks so much for riding along with me today. If you enjoyed the run, hit that like button, drop a comment with where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next route. Catch you on the next one. Stay safe out there.